What is going on, everybody? ZakRC here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome along to episode number 9 of the F1 23 Driver Career Mode series for the Canadian Grand Prix here at the fabulous circuit Gilles Villeneuve. If you guys did miss the last episode, make sure to go check that one out before you see this one to get yourself caught up on all the action so far. Right, so jumping into qualifying then. We've got a few upgrades coming in from the last round. One failed, one there on the chassis, which we'll have to try and rectify that in the next couple of races. And our next rivalry is against Pierre Gasly, the same driver who gave us such a hard time last time out in Spain. So we'll just try a couple of entertaining races with him as well. So pushing on now to our first qualifying lap. We've done okay in qualifying the last couple of races, but of course a Q1 elimination in Spain and a very poor start to our first lap there on the Canadian circuit. Let's make our way to the last couple of corners now. The Wall of Champions will be crucial to avoid over the course of the race and the qualifying as a whole. Coming to the end of our first time lap here, we're at 13.2. That puts us in 8th place right now. Surprisingly in front of Ocon and Magnussen, but was a second off from Guan Yu Zhou there in 6th place. So we're considering a change here. I might make a change to the gearbox. And at this moment in time, we're going to go against it for now. But we'll see where we come out in qualifying. And we might make a change before the race. It means we start dead last. But if we get knocked out in Q1 anyway, there'll be no point in... There'll be a good point in us changing it, so we won't lose many places. Regardless, though, pushing on to our second lap here, we'll do one or two more laps here. We've got time for one more run at the end of this qualifying session. We get around the line in time now. Into the last couple of corners we've gone way too deep there, and done the old Canadian bunny hop over the last two sausage curbs there. So lap ruined, unfortunately. So we're about a second down on our previous effort. So one more chance here to try and make something happen on this final lap, this last run in qualifying one. Try and get into Q2. Coming towards the last corner once again. This time we're half a second up on our last effort, so we could be in for a very good run here if we can nail this last corner. On the brakes we go, over the curbs, keeping it within the track limits that the game requires, and we're up by a couple of tenths here, so 8 tenths up at the end of the lap. Oh, that felt good. So that lap puts in P14 then, but coming to the end of the session here, as everyone else crosses the line, you see us there jump down to P16 at the end of it, which officially knocked us out of Q1. So to finish things off, we qualified P18 in the end. Gasly our rival, Hulkenberg ourselves, De Vries and Logan Sargent on the back row. So unfortunately qualifying there, made a few mistakes here and there, but hopefully we can try and turn it around in the race, and we're looking to making that gearbox change as well. So let's jump right into the Canadian Grand Prix.
Here in Montreal, lights out is quickly approaching on this artificial island originally built for the World Fair in 1967. Now it's used for a World's Fair of a different kind, ever since Formula One first arrived here. We're back in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. We'll be seeing top speeds of around 210 miles per hour here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, with around 2/3 of the lap taken at full throttle. High-speed chicanes spell potential danger, especially the infamous Wall of Champions, and watch out for overtaking into the hairpin and that final chicane. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Sainz, Perez, Russell, Norris, Oscar Piastri, Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Ocon, Albon, Bottas, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Zhou, De Vries, Gasly, Sargent and Cohen. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. And a warm welcome to Natalie Pinkham, who's beside me in the commentary box today. Let's talk about Cohen. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within the team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do. And that has definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
Definitely, we can do this. Let's go! Suitably fired up then for what promised to be a very exciting Canadian Grand Prix. So we did make the change in the gearbox. We're going to start dead last for this race. We're only losing 2 spots, so nothing too drastic there. Haven't lost out too much. In terms of strategy then, we're looking at the one stop as usual should things go to plan. Starting on the hard tyre and switching on to the mediums end of the race. Going to pit on lap number 19, go longer on that first stint and go harder on the mediums till the end of the race. So starting, as I say, from dead last, making the component changes you see there on the top of your screen. And the aim here once again, try and score points. We've got a pretty good run after Monaco and then Spain, so looking to try and add on to that as best we can. in the next couple of rounds or so, because we've got a number of favourable tracks here. We've got Canada coming up today, then Austria, and our home race at Silverstone. So we need to be on good form going into that one to try and score some points in front of the home car, get a good result for AlphaTauri as well, try and push us up in the Constructors' Championships. Coming to the end of our formation lap now, there is Logan Sargent just in front of us and giving a bit of a roughing up there. We're sort of lurking in his mirrors, trying to edge him out a bit before the start. See if we can try and jump in front of him before the run into that first corner. It's a longer run for us back here. So line up into our grid box here, nice and straight, making it work. So here we go then. No more talking, time for action for the Canadian Grand Prix here at the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Round number 9 of the championship, and it's underway. Lights out, foot to the floor. Go, go, go. Great start over Sargent and De Vries on the left-hand side. Joe potentially on the left as well. He's coming in front of us, going into that turn 1. We're going to try and outbrake him if we can. He goes to the inside of Gasly into that first corner. De Vries trying on our outside. There's definitely room for him to go for it this time, unlike last time out in Spain. They get a better run off the corner if we can off turn 2 and making our way up in front of De Vries, trying to get clear of him, going into the first chicane in the circuit. This will be turn 4. That was turn 3 a moment ago. So De Vries falls behind. Sargent joining him back there. So up to P18, so back where we originally qualified. So a good start to the Grand Prix there. Going to try and make up some more places on this opening lap if we can, to try and take Guan Yu Zhou if we can get a chance to go down towards the next hairpin here at the other end of the circuit, up the inside of the Alfa Romeo. Going to try and take Gasly as well, get the upper hand on our rival in our first race together on the inside. Good exit, pushing in front of Gasly and up into P16 now. So that's 4 places gained in this first lap, and we'll start working on chasing down Nico Hülkenberg in the Haas. Making our way through onto that number 2 now. Going to pull to the inside of the chicane. Into the left-hander we go, pulling alongside the German. Going to try and get in front on the outside. Bit of a wobble there through the chicane, but on the exit, keeping the car nice and smooth. And about a second back up to Bottas in P14, but another place gained for us here. Fantastic start to this Grand Prix. 5 places so far. We're building on the points here. On to the number 2 now. Bottas has taken Alonso, gone very deep there. Came very close to hitting the Aston Martin. We've lost all momentum, and there goes Hülkenberg, and Gasly might try and go for it as well down the main straight. Going to go 3 wide into that first corner. Let's try and outbreak the pair of them here. We're stuck in the middle. Going into turn 1 again, and was wiping out Alonso and wiping out our front wing too. Bit of a tap there to the Aston Martin. Not trying to rough him up too badly. But on the exit, pulling away is Alonso. Getting away from us, and Gasly is threatening us behind as well to make our way into the next right hand. I'm going to try and close Alonso over the curb a bit too much there. Way loose on the exit, and Gasly makes contact and hits us there on the way past. So wing damage to the side of our left-hand side of our front wing, and that can be crucial. We're going to try and dump the inside of Gasly here, going into the corner. Way big mistake there to make, and Gasly goes right back through on our inside. We better drive off, but crucially, that damage could impact our Grand Prix massively. Guys, check the front wing when I come back round. I should probably have damage after that. I'm going to try and drive it, see what happens. And Gasly there with a lot of damage. Going to try and stay out on this wing if we can into the last corner. But we've gone way too deep there. Gasly off into the pits, and we've hit the other side of our wing too. And now we've got to suffer a whole lap here on a damaged wing that could seriously impact our race. We've never had to deal with this before. Making a change here to our strategy. Let's go on 2 sets of mediums to the end to make it to the end of this Grand Prix, but a horrible start. A good start turned into a poor one here, and we're down in the pits now in P19 as Gasly pitted a lap ago. He's now on a fresh set of soft tyres, and a late turn in as well. We've missed it for the first time, and that's a rarity we see, because normally we're quite good at the turn in times. So I mean, a slow stop here, 8.3 to 8.4 seconds on the radar as the wing gets changed, and we are now away 8.3 and a bit slow on the clutch too. So all in all, this start has gone from a great one to a very poor one, perhaps one of the worst we've seen in this career mode so far. So on the pit exit, the best we can do now is try and manage the situation, limit the time lost to Gasly. Of course, he's our rival in this first race together. We need to try and beat him if we can. So have a look at a replay to what happened between us and Gasly there. So we're chasing down Alonso into the right-hander. I got a bit too much on the curb there and almost lost the car several times. And Gasly, running his normal line, just goes through, and we're unlucky to get in his way. So definitely our fault in that respect. We made the mistake, but it was stupid to try and dump the inside of Gasly like this. I don't know how I thought it'd work. We could have taken Alonso out for a 3rd time in succession. So Gasly gets back in front for the moment. We then pull ahead once more. But regardless, here on to that number 7 of this Grand Prix. Then we are 2.8 seconds behind Gasly. Yellow flag on the main straight. Of course, any safety car could help us massively here in this early stage of the Grand Prix to help us try and close in. It looks like one of the Ferraris. It's Carlos Sainz who's out of the Grand Prix this early on. Have a look at the replay here at what's happened. The Spaniard in the Ferrari is running around P5, P6. Perez goes over the curbs. Oh, that's a massive bit of contact there. Perez lucky to still be in contention, and it's done something to Sainz's car, because he's now massively off the pace here and being passed by everyone on the way through. Perez, Russell, Piastri, Norris, Stroll. I see Alex Albon there as well. So Sainz's race is unfortunately over just before it even got started. And so we're lucky to still be in the Grand Prix, unlike Sainz himself, who passed to pull the car off there. And I think it's going to happen to the car there because the wheel has fallen off. So a virtual safety car was then deployed for Sainz's DNFs. So unfortunately for him, but it does put us up a place. And we're only 2.4 seconds back from Gasly here. So we could try and close a bit more on this restart if at all possible. Virtual safety car now ending us to keep us in the delta to avoid a drive-through penalty, which would impact our race even further down the drain than it already is. But we should be all okay here, well under the delta. The green flag goes back out mid-corner. Gasly pulls away a bit more here, so DRS now redeployed. We can return to the racing speed and start work on closing our pack. De Vries there, 20 seconds in front of us. That's probably the first in front of us he's been all season. Gasly on lap 15 there, we've managed to catch him, locks up into the chicane. We're right behind him, practically pushing him through the chicane here. Safety car's deployed. I'm not sure what that's for. Alonso's up the race. It's a red flag for the second time in this Primo 2. So it's a red flag be deployed. Not at all sure what's happened here. And just as we're about to take Gasly as well. Very frustrating, but a lifeline potentially. Alonso here out of the Grand Prix. It looks to be the exact same corner that happened to us. And it looks like he's gone over the curves way too much and he spun it where we didn't. And I see Ocon there has just gone driven straight into him. It's a bit of a stupid, unfortunate collision. But both cars look to be out the race here.
We've done all right so far, but this is a chance to take a breath. We've got another half of this race to go, and there's still a big opportunity there.
Okay, change the tyres. We're giving a lifeline here, guys. Let's try and take advantage of that. So this lifeline's been thrown us. Clearly a change in strategy is required. We're going to get a free pit stop out of this. That'll catch us right back to the pack again. So we go on to the fresh set of mediums. We're going to take those to the end of the Grand Prix without doubt. So that should be all good for us, and hopefully we can use that to try and make up some more places here. We restart on lap number 17, once again going to 5 red lights for the second time in this Canadian Grand Prix. Hamilton, Verstappen on the front row, it's lights out, foot to the floor. Once again we are back on the way, get a better start than Gasly immediately and try and take Hulkenberg. Ocon's still in the race right now, so we didn't go out with Alonso. Up the inside, 3 wide into the first corner, not much room for us there. Let's go over the grass a little bit, but around the outside of both Hulkenberg and Ocon, they try and take De Vries as well, get a warning for a collision with Hulkenberg, and again a poor exit, keeping us behind De Vries at the moment, who's for the first time in quite a while is running in front of us as it stands. Hulkenberg and Ocon right there behind us. One of them, whoever wins, is going to try and take us on, but they both slow each other down through the chicane. Midway through lap 17, then back on the restart, up the inside of De Vries in the hairpin, and on the exit, looking to pull in front of our teammate once again, and they further establish our dominance as to who is the #1 driver here at AlphaTauri. And we'll start working on chasing down Kevin Magnussen now, see if we can try and close on him before he gets around Sargent. Onto lap 18, then through the chicane, Magnussen, a bit of a poor exit. We'll try and make a move. We can get close enough here, make a move to the inside, try and go late on the brakes. Up the inside we go, very close to it. Didn't get enough room. We've hit him on the way through there. We didn't quite get him either. Around the outside, we're going to try and make it work this time. Magnussen, another touch there. We're going to get in front, and Leclerc there, the 5-second penalty in P10. So as of right now, that puts us in a net P11 as it stands. Magnussen is all over us, trying to find a way back through again. A bit loose there through the chicane, but keeping it in front of him onto lap 19. Then DRS getting deployed, but Magnussen about a second back now. So he's really fallen back since the match taken. But oh, terrible run there through the right-hander of turn number 2, and there goes Magnussen up through and into 12th place once again. And over the chicane we go, losing a bit more time here, but onto lap 23. Closing in that little bit more once again and closing back up, and there's a yellow flag on the main straight. Not sure what's happening there. Looks like Logan Sargent, and the safety car has been deployed for our old rival. Logan Sargent's gone out of the race, so safety car once for the second time in this Grand Prix was almost briefly deployed for the red flag. Let's have a look what was happening to Sargent. He had a pit for a puncture, I believe, a lap ago. That's why he's so far back. And now coming into the last corner, he's just got on the brakes, gone on the throttle too hot, crashes it into the inside wall, and that's his race over. So a number of DNFs in this Grand Prix. We're down to 17 cars. Verstappen leads Hamilton, then Russell, Perez in 4th, Stroll runs in 5th, Albon doing very well for Williams in 6th, Bottas 7th, Piastri 8th, Leclerc 9th. It's crucial where he is. He's got a 5-second penalty. If we can try and stay within range of him, that's another free place for us. And Norris rounds out the points with Magnussen just in front of us and De Vries just behind. We're still on these mediums from the red flag, and we've got 10 laps to go here. Try and make this one work. We're quite a way back from Magnussen. Let's try and catch back up to him as best we can here to try and get around him. So we are 2 places off the points. It could be 1, because as it stands with Leclerc's penalty, that means that we should move in front of him in the final order, thanks to the 5 seconds that he's got. So in reality, we only need 1 place and stay within 5 seconds of Leclerc. But I'd like to try and take 2. Green flag goes back in the air. 10 more laps to go here at the circuit. Gilles Villeneuve for the Canadian Grand Prix. Into turn 1 we go, all single file. Going to try and take Magnussen around the outside there, but again, skidding through turn 2. I'm going to hit Magnussen's back left tyre. He's going to stay in front of us. I'm going to try and get him into the chicane. He's a bit of our battery on the way in. Into the entry we go, and keeping it within the white lines and pulling in front. Okay, Mag, so up into P11 now. That's a net P10. That's 1 point now on the line. Onto lap 28. Closing on Lando Norris. Has got Leclerc and Piastri for company in front of him. Going to dive to the inside, but the McLaren covers us off very nice. We're going to shunt him out of the way a little bit into the right-hander. Norris gets away in front, and Magnussen is still hounding us there racing us for P11. Going to try and get Norris on the DRS if we can, get close enough, but I don't think he's going to get him this time. He's a bit too far in front. And going through the chicane on lap number 30 here, reaching the closing stage. The safety car has been deployed again, and Ocon's out the race this time. And I'm not sure if there's anyone else in tow. It's just Ocon, unfortunately. So a second incident for the Frenchman, and it's a bit too much for him. And Magnussen out as well. What's happened to K-Mag here? Because it was hounding us so dramatically in the late stage of this Grand Prix, but it looks like he's been taken out of the Grand Prix. Not sure what's happened to him at all. He's following us right then and there, and a puff of smoke from the back of the house. We didn't see that at all here, and that has pulled the car, runs a bit wide in this chicane. It looks like De Vries gets through, but Ocon is not quite so lucky. He runs into the back of K-Mag, and that's the race over for Ocon, and Magnussen will have to pull over the car as well. So retirement for both cars, double whammy there, and that'll move some more cars up the order here. But that brings out the safety car very late on in the game here with just 3 more laps to go in this race. Hamilton now leads Verstappen. Russell sits in 3rd place. We sit in P11, and with Leclerc's 5 seconds, that's still P10. But if we try and take these 2 McLarens in the restart, we've got 3 more laps to try and take both Norris and Piastri. I think we can do it. We're going to try and finish the highest scoring rookie in this Grand Prix. De Vries still behind. Keep trying to nab a first point as well. If he gets close enough, I'll have to wait and see if we can perhaps shuffle the McLarens out the way in favour of our Dutch teammates. So into the last couple of corners we come here, into the final chicane where the Wall of Champions is waiting. We avoided it for the last 32 laps or so. And green flag now goes back in the air. We've got 3 laps to try and get around both Norris and Piastri to try and claim some more points. Up the inside, Norris wasting no time at all into the first corner, but illegal overtake there. We've passed him just before the green flags came out. I have to see the position back to us. And again, another poor exit through turn 2. The tyres not attempted there, side by side with our fellow Brit. Into the chicane we go, try and outbrake him and keep it within the lines like we did on Magnussen earlier, and up into P10. I think there's still time for one more overtake. Piastri only a second in front, is 3/10 in front as we start the final lap of this Canadian Grand Prix. And now we have DRS to make our job a whole lot easier on this last lap as Leclerc looks to try and take Bottas to finish in P7 on the road. Piastri, our main target here, only a few tenths in front. He's within his striking distance. Norris about a second back. He's out of our concern at this stage. Going to try and dive on Piastri into the chicane. Got a very poor exit off the last one. And going into this next left-hander, going to try and take on the inside. We have set on several other cars today. Up the inside, making sure he knows we're there. Keeping it very close to him, no contact, around the outside, we're in P9 now, that's P8 if we finish within 5 seconds of Leclerc, but Piastri is still there with us, and Norris not too far behind either. Those guys now closing in with DRS to their advantage, and so we have to see if we can hold them off in the last couple of corners of this Grand Prix. It looks like Hamilton set the victory unless Verstappen can take him in the closing meters of this Grand Prix. Piastri closing in, going to try and go to the inside of the hairpin, very tight between us, going to try and cover him off a bit more. No point, he's already down our inside, but we get a better drive off on the outside and pulling away from Piastri now. Norris was just behind him. These guys will gain massively here down this last straight with DRS to their advantage, but we've got very little battery left. Usually we've got left for a good run down this next straight. Leclerc is 2 seconds in front of us. We're still on course for P8 if we can try and hold these guys off. Piastri closing in all the time, won't go for it into the last corner, but over the curbs there, poor momentum on the exit. Piastri all over us. Hamilton's won the race. Here comes Piastri on our right hand side. Norris trying to make it 3 right for the line, but it's P9 in the end. Piastri takes it at the death.
They take the checkered flag then here in Canada in what has been another fabulous Grand Prix. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Look, having a fast car is thrilling, but reliability is key, and you have to give kudos to the team for getting that car to the checkered flag.
Well, Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again.
So amidst the crazy racing, Lewis Hamilton takes the checkered flag once again and wins the Canadian Grand Prix to try and close that gap to Max Verstappen. Russell comes home in 3rd place. I think the plaudits have to go to us today, given the drive we made there. Of course, the red flag was a major boost to us. We managed to turn it around and get some points on the board in the end. Piastri got us just at the flag. We kept it in front of Norris. Now it's enough for P9 thanks to Leclerc's penalty. So all in all, a successful weekend. It was quite poor to start off with, but dead last. And even further back than that, from about 20 seconds back to P9 in the end, is definitely nothing to be frowned at.
Standings. The gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race today for our championship leader. So then, Natalie Pinkham, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Well, for me, it's got to be Lewis Hamilton. The multiple world champion may be the obvious choice at this point, but he's certainly a driver deserving of his great reputation.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. Another team that will be satisfied with this Grand Prix is Alfa Romeo, whose good result moves them further up the championship. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport action. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Here's a look then at your final results from the Canadian Grand Prix. So Hamilton wins them from Verstappen and Russell. Perez comes home in 4th. Very good race for Lance Stroll, who goes from 10th to 5th in the end. Albon finishes in 6th. Bottas 7th. Piastri gets us by half a tenth there in 8th. We finish in 9th, and Norris takes on the final point by about half a tenth again. De Vries just a place away. Leclerc finishes in P14. Then Gasly, our rival, in P15, and 5 retirees. Magnussen, Ocon, Sargent, Alonso, and Sainz. There's your Drivers' Championship. We sit in P12. Verstappen leads Hamilton by 55 points now, so Hamilton closes the gap ever so slightly. Leclerc there in 3rd place, and we pull in front of Gasly by another 2 points there. And there's your Constructors' Championship. AlphaTauri still there in P9. 4 points off of Alfa Romeo and Williams both get points today. And Red Bull lead Mercedes by 46 points. That gap closing a little bit today. But that is the end of the video. I do hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more regular Formula One content. And until my next video, you guys have an absolutely splendid day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.